Hello and welcome. Ever wonder how your music app just knows what song you want to hear next? Or how your bank can spot a funky transaction in like 2 seconds flat? Well, the secret sauce behind all of that is something called a data pipeline. It's kind of like the invisible engine that makes our whole digital world go round. So let's get into it. At the end of the day, a data pipeline is really just a journey. It's about taking all this raw, messy data, clicks, numbers, random bits of information, and turning it into something genuinely useful. And that's the story we're going to tell today. So here's our game plan. First, we'll imagine our data pipeline as a really smart factory. Then we'll get into why we even need these factories in the first place. We'll look at its 2 main production lines, walk through the whole assembly process, learn its golden rules, and finally, we'll get a little sneak peek into the factory of the future. Okay, to really wrap our heads around what a data pipeline is, let's think of it as this super smart, totally automated factory. Or, what's even better? Let's picture a modern professional kitchen where raw ingredients get turned into a perfect meal, one step at a time. So the key idea here is that a data pipeline is basically an automated conveyor belt for data. It grabs all the raw data from different places, cleans it up, does its magic on it, and then spits out a finished product, like a business report or that perfect movie recommendation, all without a person having to do much at all. Now, sticking with our kitchen idea, the classic way this works is called ETL. That stands for extract, transform, and load. First, you extract the raw ingredients, that's your data, from wherever they're stored, like getting food out of the fridge. Next, you transform it. This is the cooking part. You clean it, you chop it up, you get it ready to be useful. And finally, you load that finished dish onto a plate, which in our world is a data warehouse all ready to be served. But hold on, why do we need this whole complicated factory anyway? Why not just use a simple spreadsheet? Well, a little while back, the world of data completely changed. Yeah, so back in the 2000s, smartphones and all these other smart gadgets started popping up everywhere. And that kicked off what we call the big data explosion. Suddenly, the amount of data being created was just a tidal wave. An Excel sheet or a single database? No way. They just couldn't keep up. We needed something way, way more powerful. This explosion created 3 big challenges, what folks call the 3 Vs. First, there was the insane volume of data, billions of events a day. The pipeline solution? Distributed processing, spreading the work across lots of computers so nothing crashes. Then there's velocity, the crazy speed data was flying in at. Pipelines handle this with real-time processing, so businesses can react instantly. And finally, you had variety, all sorts of messy, mixed-up data types. For that, pipelines use automated validation to clean things up and make sure the data is actually trustworthy. Okay, so our data factory is built to handle all this data. But here's the thing, it doesn't just work one way. It actually has 2 main production lines, and which one you use depends on what you need more, handling massive amounts of data or being lightning fast. This slide lays out the 2 options perfectly. On one side, you have batch processing. A great way to think about this is cleaning the entire kitchen after the restaurant has closed for the night. You just gather up all the data from a certain period, say a whole day, and process it in one giant chunk. The priority here is being accurate and handling huge volumes. On the other side is streaming processing. This is more like a chef cooking each dish as the order comes in. The second a new piece of data arrives, it gets processed right away. Here, it's all about speed. So where do we see this stuff in real life? Well, batch processing is perfect for things like a bank settling all its accounts at the end of the day, or for generating a monthly sales report. Things that don't have to happen this very second. Streaming, though, that's what you need for real-time credit card fraud detection, where every millisecond counts, or for getting those instant message pings on your phone right away. So, we know what the factory is, and we know about its 2 main production lines. But how do you actually build one of these pipelines? What does that assembly line look like from start to finish? Well, it's a 5-stage journey. It all starts with planning. You gotta figure out your goal. What decision is this data actually gonna help you make? Then you move to analysis, where you really dig into the raw data you have and pick a strategy. After that, it's design time, creating the blueprint. A really common approach here is the medallion architecture, where you refine data in stages, from raw bronze to cleaned up silver to business-ready gold. Stage 4 is development. This is where engineers actually write the code and build the whole workflow. And finally, you have operation, which is all about keeping an eye on the live pipeline to make sure everything's running smoothly and the data is healthy.
Now, for any factory to run well, it needs rules, right? And in the world of data pipelines, there are 3 golden rules that make sure everything is reliable, efficient, and that everyone is on the same page. The first big rule is orchestration. The best way to think about this is like the head chef in the kitchen. It's a master system that manages the whole show. It tells all the other systems when to start, what to do if something goes wrong, and who to yell at if there's a problem. It's basically the brain of the whole operation.
Next up is a word that sounds a little funny, but its job is so important: idempotency. This is basically a critical safety check. Let's say a task fails and you have to run it again. Idempotency guarantees that running it 5 times gives you the exact same result as running it just once. This is absolutely crucial for things like financial data. You can't accidentally charge someone twice. It's all about reliability.
And the third golden rule is data governance. You can think of this as the factory's official recipe book. It's a set of shared rules so that everyone understands the data in the exact same way. It makes sure that when the marketing team talks about a customer, they mean the exact same thing as the sales team. It just prevents total chaos and helps leaders trust the numbers they're seeing.
So, we've seen how the factory works today. But what about tomorrow? Just like pretty much everything else, the world of data pipelines is getting a massive upgrade thanks to artificial intelligence.
And when you look ahead, things are evolving really, really fast. By 2026, we're talking about the rise of autonomous pipelines, where AI actually starts helping humans design and fix them. But fast forward to 2031, and we're looking at AI-native pipelines. At this point, AI agents won't just help. They'll build, manage, and optimize the pipelines all on their own. The old lines between batch and streaming, they'll just disappear into one smart system.
And that leaves us with one last, pretty big question. In a future where AI can build and run its own data factories, what's left for us humans to do? What does our job become in a world of truly smart, automated data? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me.